there is nothing worse than, you know, that dead of the night when you're alone and you've got no one to lie to but yourself. And you're laying there and you're thinking, you know, you start with those things, those conversations you had at school with your best friends back in the day when you used to debate how big the universe was and what it was all about and who made it and who made them, and all those sort of big world concepts that you kind of park when you go into big people's life. And I started getting those revelations again, which is, what is the purpose of existence? You know, what am I doing? I'm just getting closer and closer to the end of my life experience every day.
Yep.
And I haven't yet worked out where I fit into this whole thing, and even what that whole thing is. So it kind of feels just like somebody has given us a template to live by, that all human beings, what are they? Well, they are primary school, they are secondary school, they are university, and then they are work to keep a system going that provides people with money, that enables that work to continue. And then what we've got is a situation where we look forward to the last years of our life, where we can go and basically sit on the beach or do some gardening or whatever that is. And who's to say that when you get to that age that you want to do those things? Well, you might want to take things slower. You might want to then climb Everest. You might then still want to, you've still got dreams, but people feel that they have to follow that pattern.
And nothing's guaranteed. You may not even reach that age. You know, I think that living in today's world is definitely taught us that, like, tomorrow is not guaranteed. And I knew that I didn't want my last day being on some hamster wheel of life that I felt like I was not in control of. But that was the lie, because I realized I was in control. I could get off of this wheel. I just had to make the decision and get the courage in order to go in a different path. And that took, you know, that takes, for a lot of people, you know, that fear factor is the thing that's really holding them back from, like, living the best life that they could possibly live. And that fear factor is what keeps them in that bondage of trying to clamp onto a life that's false and superficial. So I absolutely agree there.
We feel accountable around us, you know, that they see us in a certain way, and we have to continue to be that person for them, for our families who've invested all their time to raise us in a certain way, and therefore we have to pay them back somehow by giving them this thing that they can be proud of. And so I guess there's a little bit of that. And, you know, we get hemmed in by things like responsibilities, financial responsibilities, paying the bills, paying for the rent, paying those debts back. And so there are so many considerations that restrict our freedom in the modern world. You know, if you think back to medieval times where you've got your little hut in the field, you can just decide if you want to go out and do this, do that. It's just about eating and, you know, reproducing and the simple things and all those sorts of things. The pace of life has completely changed. We've got so many things that keep us going on this wheel that we talk about.
Yep, the hamster wheel. It's true. So when you decided, you know what, it's time for me to get off of this hamster wheel. I'm not living. This is not the life that I want anymore. So what were the steps that you started to take once that sort of light bulb went off? Like, it's like, no, there's more to life than this, and I'm going to start living it. Right.
Well, one thing was that I had never thought that I would have children. I just was so intent on me. And it just wasn't something that I thought was ever going to happen for me. And then I met a guy who was so completely different from me and my usual choice in men that it changed my mind, because usually I go out with the creative guys that want to paint you the most beautiful picture to hang in some sort of arty place, or, you know, the musicians who want to write you the best song ever. But this time around, I found a guy who was so black and white. He was so like a boffin, you know, like a professor. And I thought, and I remember when he came up to me and he said to me, no chat up line. It was more like, I was showing a picture of a place I was about to buy, a new house I was about to buy. And he said, oh, I wouldn't get that place. The lawn's terrible. It's got so much clover in it. You'd be trying. And I thought, oh my gosh, you haven't tried to come at me with some sort of game or anything. I love you. And so I kind of thought, yeah, I'll go with this. And so my mind went into a children sort of phase. And I thought, you know, and I'm glad that it did. It scared me, but it thrilled me. Life was telling me that it was that sort of time. And so we got married. I had my 2 children very close together. And I allowed myself to take time out during that time to just take stock of everything that had happened, because my life had been so busy, so packed back and forwards with things. And I just felt like I needed to just get some perspective. So going through that process of having my children and taking time out allowed me to reconnect with things, simpler things, a slower pace, to take stock of what was around me and the world around me and my feelings and my body.